On July 26, 2024, the Xbox 360 marketplace was shut down for good. Nowadays, online stores are no big deal. PSN, Microsoft Store, Steam, and whatever the hell Nintendo's eShop is supposed to be, but the 360 market was something unique at the time of the console's launch. It allowed users to download or purchase video games, including both arcade games and full 360 titles, downloadable content for games, demos, as well as unique gamer picks and dashboard themes to personalize your console. It was revolutionary to have an online store for your home console.
Now I could go on about how important this was to the gaming hemisphere, the rise of the digital game market, and how this was a launchpad for many a game studio, with games such as Super Meat Boy, Geometry Wars, and Bastion. But the biggest question of all was, what's going to happen to the games that are not compatible with more recent Xbox consoles?
Yes, some games were ported over, such as the Dead Rising series being sold for $3 on the 360 store, but could not be played on an Xbox One. And others have no way of being preserved, like Bionic Commando Rearmed, whose sequel can be played on Xbox One and Series S. Game preservation is a big deal, so being able to not only play these games but to keep them for future game archives is important. I mentioned that Dead Rising was only a few bucks, and yes, a majority of games, both retail and indie, got major discounts. So I, like many, dipped into our wallets to get our hands on these digital games before they were lost for good.
Now I didn't get many games. I'm quite particular in my tastes. Plus, I'd rather own them physically. But when there's a game on sale that costs no more than a cheeseburger, it's kind of hard to say no. But here are the games I got, and just for fun, let's compare the prices I paid for during the sale to the initial retail price.
Bionic Commando. Sale price $149. Retail price $14.99. I like this game. Yes, this sequel/reimagining to the arcade NES game developed by a Western developer during Capcom's period of outsourcing their IPs, which famously included DMC Devil May Cry, is a fun game to play, if a little quirky and head-bangingly stupid at times. Swinging through a desolated city like Spider-Man using your bionic arm in combat against soldiers as well as using the environment to your advantage is very cathartic when you don't want to use guns. What I don't like is that it seems to be an open world, but in reality you're just in a corridor with radiated walls. And falling into deep water will make you sink like a rock, with little time to escape before drowning. It makes sense, I am carrying a mass of metal for an arm, but I died many times because of this. Despite all that, it's still fun to swing, throw, scale, and watch the overly serious story it's trying to tell. Bionic Commando Rearmed. Sale price, 99 cents. Retail price, $9.99. A remake of the NES classic and just as janky. I didn't grow up with the original NES version, but I can see the appeal of this game. Though this time there are difficulty settings for noobs like me. Not being able to jump because of Spencer's arm is annoying, but once you figure out how the grappling and swinging works, you'll be surprised of how fun it is to sneak up on robots and the totally not Nazis. I didn't get far because of the big bionic bead guard boss, but I might come back to it someday. Black Knight Sword. Sale price $2.49. Retail price $9.99. If you played games such as No More Heroes or Killer 7, then you know who Grasshopper Manufacturer is. Suda51 Studio, who's responsible for all the what the fuck and over-the-top games out there. So what is Black Knight Sword? Well, it's a gory side-scrolling hack and slash set up in a puppet show. The grungy visuals reminds me of Shadows of the Damned, especially collecting hearts as currency, and the game design feels a lot like Ghosts and Goblins. Definitely coming back to this one to see how far the dark rabbit hole goes. Burnout Crash. Sale price 49 cents. Retail price $4.99. I haven't played a Burnout game since The Revenge on Xbox, and I remember having a great time with that. Burnout Crash is more of a light-hearted yet overly destructive game that would not seem out of place on a mobile phone. You crash, obviously, and set about causing the most mayhem and destroying every car that comes your way, just like the time you caused a massive traffic jam in GTA Vice City, set one car to explode and watch the chain reaction. Or was that just me? This is pure cathartic chaos and I love it. Darkstalkers Resurrection. Sale price $1.99. Retail price $14.99. I'm not too big into fighting games, but I heard that Darkstalkers is a cult classic, so why not get the collection that Capcom tested the waters of and didn't follow through on bringing them back outside of MVC rosters. These games are really fun. Yeah, it's basically a more fantasy version of Street Fighter, please don't hurt me, but I get the charm and uniqueness the series has. Not much else to say other than Night Survivors is the better of the two. The Dishwasher, 99 cents. Retail price, $19.99. I only know of this because the character had a cameo in Dust Elysian Tale. And the name is given because that's what he is, a dishwasher. This is a basic idea of what an indie game was in the time, and honestly, this could pass for a game on Newgrounds. It's a side-scroll hack and slash with very distinct visuals and gore aplenty. Other than that, it's pretty basic. Dishwasher Vampire Smile, 99 cents. Retail price, $19.99. A sequel to Dishwasher? Okay. This is obviously better than the first game, plus you get to play as a vampire with unique powers and a complex history, as well as the titular dishwasher. I didn't get too far with this one because I like finishing the first of every game I own, then tackling the sequels, but I am very intrigued with this one. Kid and Lynch, sale price $2.99, retail price $19.99. Ever since the gargantuan failure of its sequel and the conspiracy that stemmed from a 6 out of 10 GameSpot review, I've been curious about this game and what it did to deserve such an infamous legacy. It took me all of 10 minutes to find out. How can you develop a shooting game where aiming at the enemy's head doesn't mean you're going to hit it? I wasted so much ammo on one singular cop that maybe 3 out of the 20 bullets actually hit them, and they were still shooting back. After the tutorial, of which you cannot complete without your ball and chain partner at your side, the game decided to bug out on me after a cutscene and have the camera remain locked in place as if the cutscene was still playing. 6 was being very generous, Jeff. Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon, $9.99. Retail price, $19.99. Disclaimer, I already own this on the Wii, so why did I get it again on Xbox? Because spending $10 digitally is better than spending close to $50 to $100 for a physical copy. No, I have no idea why this game, the conclusion of an epic trilogy, costs so much on PS3 and 360, whereas the Wii version is very cheap and common. As for the game, it's like playing Bugs and Taz on PS1, where you control both dragons each with a set of magic breaths and are connected via a magic rope. It's not a bad game, just a very heavy-handed with the repetitive combat, and hearing Elijah Wood as Spyro just makes me think they were going for a Lord of the Rings-esque trilogy, and ended up using Frodo for the hell of it. Like I said, it's the third and final part of the trilogy, so be prepared to be lost of what the Legend of the Purple Dragon is, and who Cinder used to work for. Mighty No. 9, 99 cents. Retail price, $19.99. Yes, I willingly got one of, if not the most infamous Kickstarter games of the past decade. Everyone knows of its legacy, the spiritual successor to Mega Man, headed by Kenji Inafune. The fastest and most successful Kickstarter campaigns resulted in a game that is barely any better than Mega Man 6. I can't say the game is bad, just woefully inadequate to what it was hyped up to be, not to mention how bland everything looks. It's one of those games where you have to experience it for yourself to understand. And I'm still unsure whether or not this game will brick your Wii U, and no, I'm not foolish enough to try it. Remember Me. Sell price $1.99. Retail price $19.99. This is an overlooked title from Capcom and has one of the most unique combat systems out there. Take the Batman Arkham combat, but you can customize it with pressings, and each string of pressings has different outcomes. There's also a unique mechanic that can alter the memories of certain people and have them think certain events didn't go the way they remember. The story's okay, it's a dystopian future where memories are altered to give people different lives going forward, which is questionable at best. Street Fighter Cross Tekken, sell price $1.99, retail price $19.99. Again, I'm not that big into fighting games, but I could not pass up this once-in-a-lifetime crossover between two fighting giants. I remember how big of a deal this was, and there was going to be another crossover called Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which never came to fruition due to the poor sales of this game. Which is a shame because it's not bad, it's fun to play. I'm playing as characters you would never see in a Street Fighter game due to different gameplay styles. And I'm still getting my ass kicked. Strider, sale price $1.49, retail price $14.99. Like with Bionic Commando, Strider was also planned to be rebooted from a Western developer, but was cancelled. Instead, we got the same developer as Bionic Commando, Grin, to reboot Strider as a 2D side-scroller like the classics. And goddamn, this game is fun to play. Running through levels, slicing up enemies, taking down robots, climbing walls. Why didn't I play this game sooner? Thief. Sale price $224. Retail price $14.99. I know this game was part of the current consoles, but I'm not paying more than what I had to experience this game. Why? Well, because this game is not very good. It's functional. It has its own methods of stealth, gimmicks in the art of thievery, and how the story progresses, but having played the original and third sequel, Deadly Shadows, this Thief game is very lacking in a lot of areas. Again, it's a functional bad game, but there's an air of, we have the IP so we can do what we want with it type of design. Worms Ultimate Mayhem. Sale price $249. Retail price $9.99. The Worms games have always been a fantastic way to unwind and wreak havoc on your friends after school, more specifically Worms Armageddon. The 3D games haven't been well received, but that didn't stop Team 17 from compiling Worms 3D and Worms 4 Mayhem into an Ultimate Mayhem package. Everything Worms is still here, just 3-dimensional, but it also brings up a few problems such as aiming and movement. Despite this, it's still relatively fun to blow up your opponents and see them go flying into the distance. But because of the game's sales, it's probably the reason why every other Worms game post Worms 4 has been strictly 2D.
And those are the games I got during the final sale of the Xbox 360 Marketplace. In total, I spent $33.60. At retail, these games would have cost me $234.85, meaning I saved a total of $201.25. What games did you get during the final sale of the 360 Marketplace? Let me know in the comments below, and I shall see you all next time.